Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the September 15th Administrative Services Committee meeting. We are going to call this meeting to order and look for the approval of the minutes from last month, August 18th. Is there an approval? Thank you. Thank you. All in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Great. We are moving to the privilege of the floor. If there's anybody here to speak to the Admin Services Committee on any item, now would be the time to do that. We'll open that, and seeing and hearing nobody for that, we're going to close the privilege of the floor and move right on to our 5-point agenda. The first item on our agenda is a proposed resolution to amend the capital project accounts for JCC. Is there anybody here to speak to that? All right, great. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Kathleen Dennison. I'm the Interim Executive Director of Administrative Services for Jamestown Community College. And the resolution that you have in front of you is to do two things. And one of them is really very straightforward. The first item is that we have a project for roof replacement and we came in $300 over budget. So that is the state project that funds that needs to be closed out, so we do need to make that minor adjustment. So we're proposing to increase the appropriations for roofs and take that out of our infrastructure project. And then the second item is referred to in the third whereas clause that we did a resolution earlier this year to amend one of our projects for renovations in our Holtquist Library. And I came before you to ask about an increase in funds for asbestos abatement.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we did make a couple of mistakes in that resolution. So that's resolution the 128-25. So the rest of the adjustments here are just to fix those issues. It doesn't affect the use of fund balance at all, and it really doesn't affect the projects, just putting all of the revenues and expenses in the correct project numbers. Because we did have an old project for demolition of the building, and we had a project number for that, and the new project with the asbestos was a different project number, and we mixed them up.
All right, great. Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments for Kathleen?
I think she did a really good job explaining this the first time we went through.
Oh. Thank you, Ms. Vanstrom.
It's always good to let us know where it hits with fund balances or additional or less. But thank you for that. Any other questions, comments?
Nope.
Hearing, seeing none. All those in favor of the proposed resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Great. Kathleen, thank you very much.
All right,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. And I should have added that I am happy to say that the asbestos project is coming in right now about $7,000 under budget.
Oh,
So
okay.
under the
All right.
revised budget, so,
Good news.
yeah, we're almost done with it. There might be a couple little tie-ups, but it's coming in right as planned, so.
Fingers crossed.
Yes,
All right, great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, very good. Moving on, we have a proposed resolution for setting the salary for the digital forensic investigator. Did I not take a vote?
Oh, you did. Yeah, we did.
Okay,
It's
okay.
okay. It's Monday.
Thank you. Yep, that's all right. Hi there.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
That's good.
Thank you for joining us.
Just for the record, Jason Schmidt, District Attorney.
Perfect. All right, Jason, tell us about this proposed resolution.
I apologize, we had a number of resolutions.
No
I
problem at all.
don't
This,
remember.
this is for, and I can give
Yes.
you my copy if you want. This is for the setting the salary for the
Yeah.
digital forensic investigator.
Sure, so, as I had explained to a lot of the legislators earlier this year, we had been working for a while to acquire Cody Willett, who previously was assigned from IT to the sheriff's office. Cody Willett was eventually brought over to us in the summer. the duties and responsibilities which he's responsible for are quite different than those that are typically, assigned to members of the of IT or which were previously his assignment at the sheriff's office. So we had worked with Debbie Mikowski and her group at HR to outline the duties and responsibilities that we were going to assign Cody to, and we can go through those if you want. And at that point, Debbie had taken all the information that we had provided, and as I understand it, we had collaborated together and created a duties and a position statement. Now, once we had that established, the next order of business was to determine what civil service level or grade that would qualify for. Where does he actually fit in the civil service structure, since we're creating a position that didn't previously exist here in Chautauqua County? And so we had narrowed it down to the discovery facilitator position, which is a high-level position. He's actually doing a lot of technical work for us. And then that was assigned a certain grade level, I believe at 25 grade level.
Yes.
And,
Correct, yep.
and that's what brings us here today.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that, just so we're all on the same page. That second whereas is good. I'm just gonna read that. Whereas the digital evidence will include but not be limited to surveillance videos, body cams, dash cams, drone video, mobile phones, computers, tablets, electronic storage devices, gaming devices, cell phone towers, social media communication devices, and apps. And it goes on, but it just kind of gives us a feel for things that we haven't had to deal with probably in decades gone by. So, questions, comments for this? Go ahead. I see you leaning forward, Dalton.
You said we're taking him from the sheriff's department. Are we taking it to where he's going to work hand in hand between the DA's office and the sheriff's department, or is the sheriff's office going to have to hire somebody else?
The sheriff's office has already replaced those duties and responsibilities for which Cody was servicing CCSO.
Okay.
That had been done way back before we even acquired him. He was effectively sidelined. He's a certified Cellebrite technician. Cellebrite is the software that's utilized by law enforcement in order to conduct electronic or data extractions from electronic devices, such as cell phones that we may seize in the course of a criminal investigation. In addition to those duties, which were removed during and assigned to somebody else during Cody's assignment at the sheriff's office, we're utilizing him for that purpose. We're also utilizing him for other purposes relative to electronic evidence that we are seeking to acquire or have already seized. A lot of our crime scenes, or a lot of the violent felonies that occur, are actually, all or part of which sometimes we find are captured on security systems that are maintained for residential or commercial purposes. A lot of times they're not ideal, and we seek to enhance those, and we try to do those in a manner that will preserve their admissibility into evidence at trial, because if you change the underlying metadata, that may have an impact on whether you can properly authenticate important video that may capture an event that's relevant for all of us. So Cody has been spearheading that effort on our part to be able to introduce into evidence during our trial presentations, video evidence that meets the standards for authentication that are necessary for admission into evidence at a trial. And so he's been spearheading that effort. He's involved in quite a bit, and it all is designed to enhance the police investigations, our collective investigations that occur whenever there's a serious crime that occurs here in Chautauqua County.
Very good. Very good.
I guess my last thing is, will this be a budget neutral transition, I guess, for the rest of the year?
Yeah, well, when you say, I just want to make sure I understand that we are sitting on, we've had a lot of open positions, so that we're not going to go back here. We have a lot of room in our budget to handle the increase in his salary. Also, it's really only has an impact on at this point, we're only looking at maybe third to fourth quarter, or 1.5 quarters of 2025 that's going to be impacted. And he is otherwise, now that we have that level, he is in our budget for 2026 that's before you, and we can deal with that at another point in time if you'd
Okay.
like. But we're prepared. We understand the
Yep.
situation the county is in, and we've been prepared for that. So we think that we're going to submit a budget that should be okay.
Okay,
Very good.
I'm
Thank you
happy
very
with
much.
that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments regarding the proposed resolution? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the proposed resolution, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Hi,
Opposed and carried.
thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. All righty, the third item on our agenda is a proposed resolution to amend the 2025 budget for the Chautauqua County Attorney Office. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sam Zaffuto, Deputy Director of Finance.
Good afternoon, Anna Morgan, County Attorney.
All right, so this resolution is to balance or not balance, but to amend the county attorney's 2025 budget. It is proposing a use of fund balance. We are over budget at this point and cannot balance within the county attorney's office. There are a couple of reasons that have kind of brought this to the spot this point this year. Number one, you see we are decreasing appropriations. We have had vacancies this year. This is vacancies on top of the already budgeted vacancy savings the county had last year, which has led to an outsourcing of more work. And a second big piece of this, perfectly honest, there was an accrual from some legal work that was done from fiscal years 22 through 24, almost 50,000. That accrual was missed, so that hit in 2025. You put those two factors together, and we are, unfortunately, need the use of fund balance to get through the rest of this year.
All right, appreciate that, Sam. You said the accrual was missed from those
Yeah,
previous years?
it was not on my radar, and it was for fiscal years 22 through 24.
Okay, so this takes care of that.
Yep, that's already been booked, and then this also reserves a balance through the rest of this year for legal services.
Okay, gotcha. Questions, comments for either? Just looking through here. Any? Seeing and hearing none, thank you for that description. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the proposed resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and carried. Great.
Thank you.
That was quick and simple. Yes, thank you.
It's all Sam.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And the fourth item on our agenda, resolution of the county legislature of the county of Chautauqua imposing general sales and compensating use taxes pursuant to the authority of section 1210 of Article 29 of the New York tax law. And I believe we were also given a memo regarding this at our workstations at the beginning of this meeting.
Yes, good afternoon again, Anna Morgan, County Attorney.
Kristen Wright from the County Law Department.
Hello, ladies. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take it away here.
So you may recall earlier this year, you requested legislation from the state of New York to be able to extend our extra 1% sales tax. This is the last piece of that in which it's implemented. So traditionally, we will draft a resolution and send it to the State Department of Taxation and Finance for review ahead of time because they're very specific. They want to make sure everything goes smoothly. This year, they have an initiative to have all of the resolutions from all of the counties resemble each other, and we're looking to simplify and streamline. So they drafted a resolution for this year, which is what you have before you. It's a lot different from what you've seen in previous resolutions. So I just highlighted a few items so that you'd understand that even though it looks different, they are still, the state is still capturing what we have previously had in effect.
Do you know, and I'm assuming it was just for uniformity, why the state asked for the change of the language of the draft, just to make it easier on them, I'm guessing, to do everybody at the same time, or the counties? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I did speak with someone up at the state, and part of it is to make it easier for them when they do amendments, to make it uniform, but they also wanted to improve things for the county. So we have had a resolution from 1968 that's been amended over and over and over again. They're now starting new with this 2025 resolution. So instead of constantly looking back to this old resolution that was amended, we're starting fresh with a new one. So I do think it's a good idea, what they're doing. But I think it was also partly to help themselves, to have sanity
Sure.
this time of year when all of the counties are passing theirs. They can know exactly what needs to be looked at in all of them.
Thank you for that. And your memo probably addresses it, and I think it's probably on this long paragraph at the back here, but any substantial changes that, from one to the other, that affects us at all?
So we did a little spot checking and we spoke with the state and we don't believe there is anything. We have not gone through the entire history, but what I did is go through and check to see the main points where the counties had resolutions over the year, make sure that the dates the state had match up. Look to make sure that we had previously incorporated definitions that they're saying that are incorporated here. So everything that we spot checked was correct.
Okay, good. Any other questions, comments at all? And I'm thinking of just one more, sorry, to put you on the spot. Have you heard to this point of any other counties pushing back against this?
No, I have not heard of any
Okay,
counties
okay,
pushing back.
All right, okay. I wouldn't think as much, but, so, okay. I'm just curious what happens if we just ignore the county, but you don't really want, or the state, but you don't want to at this point, so, but, okay, very good. Any other questions, comments? Hearing, seeing none. All those in favor of the proposed resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and carried. Great. Ladies,
Thank
thank you
you.
very
Thank you.
much. And that brings us to our last point on the agenda. It's not a voting or a proposal, it's just a discussion by Kitty regarding the rental registry software.
Hello, Kitty Crow, Director of Finance.
Hi, Kitty.
The title of the discussion is only part of really what the main point of the discussion is. So really, this is to start a conversation and update on the state's changes to short-term rentals at the state level. I'm not sure how much it may or may not have been on your radar yet this year, but the state passed legislation earlier this year that allows or implements sales tax on short-term rentals. Another component of that legislation has to do with occupancy tax for counties. So there's kind of a lot to unravel in the state's legislation. I'm not going to try and do it all today. Just wanted to kind of give a quick overview because I met with Nate, our newest addition as of last Thursday to the county attorney's office, and we'll be working on a more formal presentation to kind of give you the, chart of where we need to go with this. But at the end of the day, we will need to make a change to our local law, and when the counties have an option to opt in or out of the state's legislation. And so what we'll work on is kind of a white paper or something that kind of gives you an understanding of what it means to opt in or opt out of the state's legislation when it comes to occupancy tax.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's been a topic at every conference this year. There's been a lot of questions. It's kind of, this legislation is a one-size-fits-all that doesn't fit all. So all the counties have been trying to figure out what to do. We do have until June of next year to opt out if that is the legislature's decision. By default, we opt in, so we have to take action if we would like to opt out. In regard to software, that is something that we've been pursuing for actually a couple of years now, to help with compliance and administration of occupancy tax enforcement, collection. But we hadn't quite gotten as far as implementation because we knew the state's been working on this legislation for a bit. And so I didn't want to pull the trigger and implement software if the state was going to go forward and do collection at the state level. So we know what they're doing now, and we're moving forward with software that we'll be implementing before the end of the year. which will have, you'll hear registry, the word registry a lot is what this is all about as far as opting in or out, one of the main components. But the software will allow us to, for people to register online, pay online. We can communicate or remind them that their tax return isn't in, via email correspondence through the website. But the big thing about the portal also, what that also does is it helps us identify who's non-compliant, who's not registered. It's pretty amazing, the software these days. I mean, it can take GIS information and layer that on with all the portals of VRBO and Expedia and everything, and it can pinpoint a specific address that is listing on the sites, can tell us, what the daily rate is that they're advertising on the sites. So that gives us the information to see, okay, here's this address that's advertising on all these platforms. They're not registered with the county. That allows us to send them the information that they need to register. So, and that's great for the compliance. I'm kind of looking at almost equally for helping with the administration. Right now, we have a big spreadsheet. We can do better than that in 2025. So, I'm pretty excited about implementing the software, regardless of the state legislation that talks a lot about what it means to have a registry. So we will be pursuing that either way. Let's see. Just wanted to see if there was anything else I wanted to really kind of mention today.
Say something.
Another good thing about the state law is that now there will be sales tax on short-term rentals, whereas before they were exempt from paying sales tax. So the platforms will begin collecting sales tax. I believe that goes into effect this month. They have started to collect the occupancy tax, which is required under the law. Anybody who's considered a platform is required to collect and remit occupancy tax and sales tax. So we've already started to get payments from Expedia Group, which is VRBO is under Expedia Group. So, I expect to see a little boost in revenue. Also, just kind of a point from going back to 2020. In 2020, we entered a voluntary collection agreement with Airbnb. And what that does is allows Airbnb to collect the occupancy tax, at the time of the booking, and then they remit the occupancy tax on the behalf of the hosts that are renting. So we've been doing that. When we first entered into that agreement, we definitely saw an uptick in occupancy tax collections. What we weren't able to do when we entered into that collection agreement is have Airbnb give us an itemized listing of who's they're paying for. So what we did at the time is implement on our return form is that the host, the person renting their property, would list their gross sales, anything that should have been remitted by Airbnb, and then anything else that they owe. So a little bit on the honor system there, but we've definitely seen an uptick in the revenue. So, I'm kind of looking at from the, are we willing to give up a little bit of the detail in order to get the revenue? I have no reason to believe that Airbnb isn't collecting what they should and remitting it to us. But the state legislation kind of tries to address that as well, but there's different privacy concerns. So there's a lot in this legislation. So I just wanted to kind of let you know, we're working on it. We'll be bringing, more information as we get through the next couple of months, because I kind of like to, I know we have the budget coming up too, so maybe more so for the November, December discussions, we'll have a little bit more of the nitty-gritty for you to take a look at.
All right, very good. Questions,
I
comments?
just have one quick one. So when it comes time, we'll have to opt in or out?
Well-
Automatically in, and if we want out, we have to say we want out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I
You're-
think at the end of the day, we're gonna, we're still gonna do a registry one way or another. I think we'll still get, you know, the platforms are still gonna have to submit the revenue one way or another. I think with opting in, there's some additional responsibilities we would have by opting in that we wanna vet before we kinda get into that with you.
Sounds good.
Other questions, comments? I know this, we're not voting on anything here, but, so I did write down a couple questions. So this software, we're talking two different things here, but back to the software. We have that now, or we do not?
We just entered into an agreement with a provider a couple months ago for an
Okay.
effective date, you know, for the contract to start with
Okay.
implementation in October. So
Okay, gotcha.
we'll be implementing that through this fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, but you must have seen that in action then.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty, yeah, been,
Okay.
you know, they're at every, you know, any of the conferences, there's vendors there, they're showcasing it. It is endorsed by NISAC. We did do an RFP to be, you know, it initially, so they were, one of the respondents to the RFP.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, very good. And I know the state is still working on the legislation, so one thing that came to mind, so if we were to opt in and we get a short-term rental not paying taxes, is that something that can be turned around and put on the property tax bill? What is the,
So right now, under our local law,
yeah,
if somebody does not timely submit their return, we have a process by which we send them a notice, you know, certified mail. They still don't respond, we send them an estimate of what we think they owe. And then if it goes so far into the process, we actually issue a lien against their property.
okay,
So
all right.
that
enough.
usually gets people's attention.
Sure, sure. Do you envision, now we're down the road here, do you envision that taking additional manpower that we don't have in-house currently?
This,
That process, that, you know, administrative staff to oversee
no, I think
that?
that'll free up time
Okay.
because right now, everything's done paper manually. People send us checks, scan and deposit the checks. This way they'll be able to pay online. I think it'll facilitate more timely communication, reminders that, you know, the other thing we run into is like people that might live out of the area own property here, and so sometimes
Sure.
you're mailing to more than one address. Well, most of the time we all have one email address, even though we might have more properties,
Mhm.
not me, but, some people, but, so I think that will help kind of reduce, you know, the mailing costs and things like that, so.
Okay, great, appreciate that.
Is this something in there stating that you can put a lien on their property?
Pardon?
Is this something in there stating you can add a lien on it?
In the county's current local law, if somebody is delinquent in paying their property taxes,
In this,
you know, there's fines and penalties, and then it can go as far as putting a lien on the property for the occupancy tax that are owed.
Anything else for Kitty while she's here?
And I just want to clarify one.
Yes.
The state has passed this legislation,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's done. We have a copy of it. I just wanted to get
We're trying to understand what the
our
state says
local
on
law
this.
copies ready for you, because they're kind of been amended a couple of times, and we want to give you a fully amended version, so we'll be getting that to you, you know,
Okay.
probably by the.
Do you expect recommending one way or the other? Are you just gonna give us the information of opting in, opting out, or is that question too preliminary?
Well, there's a couple questions that, you know, I talked to, Nate about today that he's gonna help,
That's-
be
yep.
research. Based on the answers to those questions, I might have a more definitive recommendation, but I should add too. If we wanna opt out, we're allowed to opt in at any time after that. Once we opt in, we cannot opt out in the future. So I don't really see at this point, in my view, from the conferences I've been to and what I've talked to other county people about, is I don't see any consequence really of us opting out. We're still gonna have a registry, because we were doing that well before the state legislation. Well, the platforms still all have to collect and remit the occupancy tax. Or just the host, the person renting is obligated to submit their occupancy tax, whether or not they're renting on a platform or not. They're responsible for their taxes being paid one way or another. The sales tax, that's going to go straight to the state, and the state's gonna send that to us with our regular sales tax payments. So there are some questions regarding opting in, and maybe some zoning enforcement, what reporting we might be then required to do at the municipal level within the county. So I think there's few more things that we would be responsible to do if we opted in. But we wanna kinda give a good pro and con, and, so you all can make an informed decision
Okay,
which way we wanna go.
appreciate that, yeah.
Thank you, Kate.
Good information, with more to come. Certainly appreciate doing your homework there. Any other questions, comments for Kitty while she's here? All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. All right, committee, anything else that we have among ourselves that you wanted to mention? Seeing, hearing none, we will take a motion to adjourn.
We'll make a motion to
Thank you,
adjourn.
Marcus. Second by Dalton, thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Another chat. I'm not sure.